You ever feel that strange pressure in the air? That quiet little shift that tells you something is about to hit your life, whether you're ready or not. Most people ignore it. They tell themselves they have time, that the world moves slow, that nothing changes in an hour. But an hour is enough for everything to flip, twist, collapse, rise. An hour can turn a nobody into a survivor, or a survivor into a story people whisper about hesitation. Such a small word, isn't it? A pause, a breath, a moment where your mind convinces you that waiting is safer than acting, but it isn't safe, not even close. Hesitation is the quiet killer of opportunities. It sneaks in disguised as patience, disguised as careful thinking, disguised as wisdom, but really, it's a thief. Every second you delay, every fraction of a heartbeat you choose to wait instead of moving, it steals from you. It steals momentum. It steals courage. It steals the chance to change everything in your life. You ever notice how life always tests you in these little ways first? It doesn't shove the moment in your face immediately. No, it whispers. It gives you tiny signs. A flicker in your mind that says, do it now. A pull in your gut that you can't quite explain. A quiet tension that you want to ignore because it's uncomfortable, and you do ignore it. You tell yourself, later. I'll handle it later. You think you're buying time, but all you're buying is regret. Because hesitation isn't neutral. It doesn't sit idly while you consider your options. It waits, and it watches, and it grows stronger every time you allow it to control your actions. That little pause, that I'll think about it moment, it becomes a habit, and the habit becomes a chain. One moment missed leads to another, and before you know it, a whole hour, a whole day, a whole lifetime can vanish because you were too timid, too cautious, too afraid to trust the urgency in your own instincts. And here's the thing most people never admit. The worst moments of life aren't the failures. The failures at least teach you something, at least move you forward in some twisted way. But hesitation leaves you paralyzed. It's the absence of movement, the absence of action, the absence of response when the universe slaps you with the only chance you'll ever get to change the path you're on. It's not dramatic, not immediately painful, not flashy, but it's lethal, and it accumulates quietly, invisibly, like rot inside a wall that looks strong until one day it collapses. You know that feeling in your chest when you sense something about to happen? That spike of tension, that flutter of unease, that's the universe nudging you. That's life counting down the seconds before it moves on without you. And yet, you hesitate, you pause, you doubt. You stand still while the clock ticks mercilessly toward a moment you can't pause, rewind, or reclaim. And the irony is, you already know what's coming. You can feel it, and still, hesitation keeps you from stepping forward, and the worst part of hesitation is how it tricks you into thinking you're safe. I'll wait. I have time. It's not the right moment yet. The mind is excellent at creating illusions of control. It makes you believe that by standing still, by doing nothing, by waiting, you're protecting yourself. But the truth is brutal. Hesitation is never protection. It's surrender. And surrender has a price that's always higher than you can imagine. Every second you delay, the moment you were meant to seize becomes more distant. It isn't waiting. It isn't patient. The opportunity isn't pausing to see if you're ready. It doesn't check in to see if your courage has caught up. It moves. It shifts. It either passes you by quietly, leaving a whisper of what could have been, or it crashes into your life with consequences that don't care about your excuses. And Here's what's most dangerous. Hesitation grows stronger when you ignore it. Each time you pause, each time you wait, each time you pretend you have more time than you do, it cements itself in your mind. It convinces you that stillness is safety, that delay is wisdom, that later is okay. But later is a trap. Later is a mirage. Later is the hand that closes the door while you're still fumbling with the handle. The moment you feel that urgency, that pull, that signal telling you to move, that's the moment your life depends on action. Not tomorrow, not in an hour, right now. Because hesitation doesn't just rob you of opportunity, it robs you of yourself. It robs you of the person you could have been if you'd chosen movement, choice, risk, courage. And the longer you wait, the further that version of you drifts away. You think a small pause is harmless. You think one more moment won't matter. But everything matters. Every heartbeat matters. Every decision counts. Every tick of the clock is a test, a challenge, a warning that hesitation isn't a pause, it's a countdown. And one day, if you keep waiting, you'll look up and realize the hour is gone, the moment is gone, and the only thing left is the bitter echo of what you ignored while life demanded you act. 1 hour, 60 minutes, 3,600 seconds. Not much, really. And yet, in that small slice of time, your entire life can shift, change can strike, opportunities can appear, disasters can arrive, and most people waste it. They spend it scrolling, pacing, hesitating, pretending that 60 minutes is nothing, that 1 hour won't decide everything. But the truth is, 1 hour can be more terrifying, more powerful, more defining than a lifetime of ordinary days. You ever feel it? That strange electricity humming under your skin when something is about to happen? That pulse that tightens your chest, sharpens your vision, rattles the edges of your mind? Most people ignore it. They laugh at it. They call it anxiety, overthinking, superstition. They pretend it isn't real because if they admit it is, they'll have to act. And acting is scary. Acting requires courage, clarity, and willingness to burn what's comfortable. But here's the cruel joke. The world doesn't wait. The clock doesn't pause. The storm doesn't give warnings for people who are indecisive. That moment coming in 1 hour, it doesn't care about your readiness. It doesn't check your confidence. It doesn't care if you're comfortable. It moves. It strikes. And if you're not ready, it will break you. If you hesitate, it will pass you by and leave behind a lifetime of regret you can't fix. Preparation is everything in these 60 minutes. And preparation isn't about fancy plans, neat spreadsheets, or polite intentions. Preparation is awareness, readiness, speed. It's the moment you decide, despite fear, that you will move, even if your legs shake, even if your mind rebels, even if your heart screams that it's too soon. Because in 1 hour, the universe will reveal its hand, and those who hesitated will be left staring, powerless, wishing they had acted. You see, fear is a liar. Fear whispers, "Wait, you're not ready. You don't know enough. Maybe later." But fear has no claim to truth. Fear doesn't decide your fate. Urgency does. That ticking clock, that pull in your chest, that knowing in your bones that is the voice of reality. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait. It doesn't forgive. And if you ignore it, you will feel its consequences harder than any punishment, louder than any warning, deeper than any regret. And here's the strangest thing. Most people think they need perfect conditions to act. They want clarity, confidence, certainty. But in the real game, there is no perfect moment. There is no safety net. The clock keeps counting, 1 second after another, and life doesn't pause, until you feel ready. The moment comes whether you want it or not, whether you're shaking with fear or smiling with false bravado. It comes and demands that you rise, or it crushes you quietly while you waste time. People underestimate urgency because it's uncomfortable. It jolts you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to make decisions while your instincts scream, wait. It pushes you to act when logic and emotion are at war inside you. And that discomfort, that's exactly where transformation lives. That's exactly where greatness lives. The chaos in your chest, the heat under your skin, the pull you can't ignore. That is your only chance to step into the moment and claim what's coming for you. Think about the people who succeed, the people who seem unstoppable. Do you think they waited until they felt perfect? Do you think they paused until the stars aligned and the hour was convenient? No. They moved when the clock was ticking. They moved while the fear was screaming. They moved while the world whispered excuses, because they knew one simple truth. 1 hour is a universe if you act, but a wasteland if you wait. And yet, here we are. People walking around like 1 hour is meaningless, treating time like it can be ignored, pretending that the moment isn't coming, pretending that the urgency isn't real, pretending that life will politely wait while they catch their breath. But the moment will come, the consequences will arrive, and for those who ignore the signs, for those who hesitate, for those who cling to comfort, instead of leaping 1 hour will feel like an eternity of regret. A single heartbeat that could have changed everything and didn't. Every second counts. Every tick of the clock is a reminder. Every fraction of a minute is a chance to decide whether you'll be ready when life hits, or whether you'll stand frozen, watching it happen without you. The moment coming in 1 hour doesn't forgive. It doesn't pause. It doesn't care. And if you don't move, if you don't act, if you don't prepare with every ounce of awareness you can summon, you will face it empty-handed, unready, and wishing desperately that time could turn backward, because 1 hour is enough, enough to rise, enough to claim, enough to change everything, or enough to lose it all. Pressure, the kind that wraps around your chest, squeezes your thoughts, and makes your hands twitch, even when you try to act normal. Most people run from it. Most people pretend it doesn't exist. They laugh, they scroll, they distract themselves, because pressure is uncomfortable. It's scary. It forces you to notice things you've been hiding from yourself. It forces you to look at the truth you've been avoiding. And the truth is merciless. It doesn't wait until you feel safe. It doesn't pause until you're ready. It doesn't care about the excuses you whisper to yourself. You feel it now, don't you? That strange hum under your skin, the twitch in your mind, the tightening in your chest that says, something's coming, something big, something you can't ignore. People ignore that feeling all the time. They convince themselves it's anxiety, stress, coincidence, imagination. But it's not. It's life. It's reality. It's the moment before everything changes. And ignoring it, well, that's when things start to hurt. The thing about pressure is, it exposes everything. All the cracks you've been hiding, all the fears you've been running from, all the hesitation you've been excusing as thinking. Pressure doesn't give you time to lie to yourself. It doesn't care about your narratives or your comfort. It forces the truth into the center of your chest and waits to see if you'll do something about it or if you'll freeze while the world moves on without you. Most people freeze. They stare at the countdown, at the ticking seconds, at the heat under their skin, and they convince themselves to wait, to breathe, to rationalize. And that's the trap. The longer you wait, the heavier it becomes. Pressure doesn't stay small forever. It builds, multiplies, grows teeth and claws. By the time the moment arrives, it's no longer a warning. It's a tidal wave, a wall, a collapse of every hesitation you ever had. And here's the trick no one talks about. Pressure isn't just a threat. It's a signal. It's a gift. It's the only reason anyone ever does something extraordinary. Because without pressure, you'd stay comfortable. Without pressure, you'd keep pretending everything is fine. Without pressure, you'd never discover the depth of your own strength, the sharpness of your instincts, the fire hidden beneath your fears. Pressure isn't the enemy. Hesitation is. Ignoring the signal is. The ones who survive, the ones who thrive, the ones who leave their mark, they listen, they move, they embrace the chaos inside their chest and turn it into action. And yet, most people don't. Most people let the fear of pressure paralyze them. They tell themselves they need clarity, patience, the perfect moment, the stars to align. But the moment doesn't wait. The stars don't pause. Life doesn't give you permission to feel ready. Life gives you a moment, a feeling, a pull in your chest, and then expects you to act. And if you hesitate, the world doesn't slow down. The opportunity doesn't linger. The moment passes, leaving only regret. Leaving only what might have been pressure makes you notice things you've been avoiding. It shows you the cracks in your plans, the weakness in your resolve, the lies you tell yourself to stay comfortable. And if you ignore it, those cracks widen, that weakness grows. Those lies become chains. Every second you hesitate, every heartbeat you pretend doesn't exist, the consequences pile higher until you can no longer ignore them. And when they hit hard, because you've been building the storm yourself, brick by brick, moment by moment. You feel it, don't you? The pull, the heat, the chaos under your skin that says, move, decide, act. That is your chance. That is your moment. That is the one opportunity you have before time moves on without mercy. And most people will fail because they waited. They will fail because they feared the pressure instead of embracing it. They will fail because they didn't trust themselves to act when the world demanded it. Pressure is not the enemy. Hesitation is. Ignoring the pull is. Waiting for comfort is. And when you finally decide to move, to act, to listen to that chaotic energy in your chest, you'll realize the truth. The fire inside you was always ready, always waiting, always strong enough to turn fear into power, doubt into certainty, chaos into control. But only if you step forward before the moment passes, before the hour ends, before the consequences arrive. Because one moment of hesitation under pressure can change everything. 1 second of waiting can turn a chance into a regret, an opportunity into a loss, a life into a story you tell yourself at night while wishing you had acted preparation. Such a simple word, but most people treat it like an option, like something you do when the mood strikes, when the stars align, when the clock isn't ticking too loudly. But preparation isn't a suggestion. It's the difference between surviving and being swept away. It's the difference between the person who laughs at chaos and the person who cries when it lands on their doorstep. And yet, people wait. They wait for signals, for permission, for the perfect time that never comes. Think about it. How often do you notice someone running towards something important without hesitation? Rarely, right? Most people stumble. Most people freeze. Most people believe preparation means having every answer before the question is even asked. But life doesn't give you answers first. Life gives you the moment and expects you to be ready, fully armed with courage, awareness, and willingness to act, even when every instinct screams, wait. That's what preparation really is, training your mind to respond, not react. training your heart to trust itself when the clock is ticking down. And the ones who succeed, they understand that preparation is not physical, it's mental, it's emotional. It's being awake to the whispers, the signs, the subtle pressure that most people ignore. You see, opportunities never announce themselves. Threats never wave politely from a distance. They arrive, they demand, they strike. And if you've trained your mind to anticipate, if you've prepared yourself to act without hesitation, the chaos becomes manageable. Otherwise, it's a storm that swallows you whole. Most people think preparation is about plans, lists, strategies. They overcomplicate it. But the truth is raw, ugly, and simple. Preparation is about presence, being fully aware of the moment, fully awake to the urgency, fully alive to the consequences of hesitation. It's watching the clock tick and feeling the pulse of what's coming. And instead of panicking, instead of stalling, instead of hiding, you move, you do something. You claim the advantage while others are still fumbling with excuses. And yet, people still ignore it. They wait, they procrastinate. They believe that tomorrow is a safer place than right now. But tomorrow doesn't exist for the unprepared. Tomorrow comes whether you're ready or not. And when it arrives, it reveals who acted and who froze. It exposes the people who ignored the subtle signals of urgency, the people who relied on luck instead of readiness. And those people, they feel the full weight of what preparation could have given them but didn't. Pressure reveals the truth, but preparation determines the outcome. Without preparation, pressure crushes. With preparation, pressure sharpens you, hones you, transforms you into someone capable of surviving what everyone else fears. It's why some people stand tall while the world collapses around them, while the same world sweeps others into chaos without mercy. The difference is awareness. The difference is readiness. The difference is the refusal to ignore the urgency in your chest. And preparation is not glamorous. It's not loud. It doesn't look impressive. Most people don't notice it at all because it happens quietly, inside the mind, inside the heart, inside the way someone moves when everything is at stake. It's practicing control over panic, mastering calm while the clock counts down, training your instincts to trust themselves when the world screams at you to run. And those who fail, they failed not because life was cruel, but because they ignored the quiet work of preparation until it was too late. You ever notice how chaos loves the unprepared? It swoops in when hesitation is at its peak, when doubt is thick, when fear is loudest. The unprepared feel the weight of life hitting them without warning, because they were waiting for the perfect time to prepare. And perfect never comes. Life doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't pause. Threat doesn't knock before entering. And the difference between surviving and breaking is often invisible until the moment arrives. The difference is preparation. Preparation is a constant. It's a shadow that follows you, a pulse beneath your thoughts, a rhythm you can feel if you pay attention. And the people who respect it, who live by it, who act because they've anticipated the moment, they understand a dark little secret. Life gives no second chances. It gives no repeats. It gives the moment, and then it moves on. You either act prepared or you become a memory of what could have been. And here's the hardest part for most people to admit. The more you ignore preparation, the louder reality hits. The consequences don't forgive. The moments you missed don't return. The opportunities you didn't claim don't come back. Every second you spent waiting, hoping, pretending that you were ready, it becomes part of the weight you carry when the clock finally runs out, when the hour strikes, when life demands that you either rise or fall. Preparation isn't optional. It isn't convenient. It isn't negotiable. It's the only thing standing between a life of regret and a life that laughs in the face of chaos. The only thing standing between hesitation and action, between fear and power, between destruction and control fear. It sits quietly at the edge of your thoughts, pretending to be caution, pretending to be wisdom, pretending to care about your safety. Most people listen to it. They obey it. They treat it like a guide. But fear is a liar. It's a parasite. It's the whisper that convinces you to wait while the clock ticks mercilessly toward a moment that won't forgive hesitation. Fear doesn't protect you. It chains you. It makes you small when you should be dangerous. It keeps you from seeing the truth that urgency demands action, not compliance. You ever feel it, don't you? That tremble in your chest when you sense something coming, something unavoidable, something that could either destroy you or make you unstoppable. That's fear pretending it knows best. That's life knocking at the door, demanding your attention, while fear whispers, wait, not yet, maybe you're not ready. And most people listen. They hesitate. They look away. They choose the comfort of ignorance over the discomfort of action, and that's when fear wins. But urgency doesn't negotiate with fear. Urgency doesn't care if your mind is screaming excuses, if your heart is pounding, if your instincts are screaming at you to stay safe. Urgency moves. It strikes. It forces the moment into your life, whether you're ready or not. And if you've been listening to fear, if you've been letting hesitation guide your choices, you'll feel it hit harder, faster, sharper than you ever imagined possible. And that's when you realize fear wasn't protecting you. Fear was delaying your survival, your victory, your rise. The strange thing about fear is how convincing it can be. It dresses itself as logic. You're not ready, it says. Wait until you know more. You'll regret this if it goes wrong. And for a moment, it almost seems reasonable. But that is the trap. Reasonable doesn't save you. Comfortable doesn't save you. Waiting doesn't save you. Only action saves you. Only listening to the pull in your chest, to the tick of the clock, to the quiet scream of urgency saves you. Most people never understand that fear is strongest when you need to act most. The moment before the shift, the second before the opportunity, the instant before life demands your courage. That's when fear rages like a storm. It's louder, sharper, insistent. And most people listen. Most people step back. Most people crumble while the world moves forward. And all because they trusted fear over reality, hesitation over instinct, doubt over urgency. And here's the cruelest part. The moment you act despite fear, the moment you step forward while your hands are shaking and your heart is racing, that's when you realize fear never had the power you imagined. Fear is noise. Fear is a shadow. Fear is a reminder that you're alive, that you care, that you're capable of rising above the ordinary. But if you let it dominate you, if you let it decide your choices, then urgency becomes your punishment, and regret becomes your teacher. Fear loves to whisper after the fact too. After the moment has passed, after the opportunity has left, after life has moved on, it will sit beside you, laughing softly, telling you what could have been, reminding you of the seconds you wasted. And that whisper can be louder than the moment itself. It's the echo of your own hesitation, the shadow of your own delay, the ghost of the courage you refused to claim while you were too busy listening to lies. People spend their lives being careful with fear. They build walls. They make excuses. They convince themselves that waiting is safe. But safe is a trap. Safe is a coffin disguised as comfort. And the moment life delivers its challenge, its opportunity, its test, safe isn't there anymore. Only the consequences of fear remain, only the results of hesitation, only the hollow echo of time wasted while the seconds you could have seized slip through your hands like smoke. And yet the truth is simple. Fear has no authority. Fear is a shadow. Urgency is the fire. Fear is the chain. Action is the key. Fear tells you to wait. Urgency tells you to move. And only those who choose urgency survive, thrive, and laugh while others cry. Fear will scream. It will claw. It will tempt you to freeze. And if you listen, if you obey, you will regret. If you resist, if you move, you will remember that the only thing standing between destruction and power, between loss and victory, between the weak and the unstoppable, was the decision to act despite fear. Every second counts. Every heartbeat counts. Every tremble under your skin is a choice. And if you listen to the lies of fear instead of the call of urgency, you will watch life happen without you, and nothing will forgive you for it. Consequences. People never like to talk about them until they're standing knee-deep in the mess they could have avoided. They ignore the whispers, the signals, the small hints that something is coming, that life is moving faster than their hesitation, that the clock is counting down whether they notice it or not. And the thing about consequences is, they don't negotiate, they don't pause, they don't forgive. They arrive exactly when you've built the perfect storm of ignoring warnings, delaying action, and pretending the moment isn't real. You can feel it, can't you? That pressure under your ribs, that tightness in your chest, that strange sense in your mind that something is about to happen. Most people call it stress. Most people call it paranoia. But it's not. It's reality. It's life keeping track. It's the warning bells you refuse to hear until they echo as screams. And those screams don't care about excuses, apologies, or regrets. They simply arrive, and when they do, they hit harder than anything you imagined possible. Consequences are patient. They wait while you stall, while you rationalize, while you hide behind excuses. They grow stronger the longer you ignore them. That tiny whisper in your chest becomes a weight, then a pressure, then a wave that will crush anything unprepared to handle it. And the cruelest part? Most people don't realize the storm is coming until it's already smashing through everything they thought was safe. By then, preparation is irrelevant, courage is too late, and regret sits heavy in your gut like a stone. And yet, consequences are fair. Not kind, not gentle, not forgiving, but fair. Every hesitation, every moment of denial, every lie you tell yourself to feel safe, it comes back in full measure. If you ignored the first signal, it will hit with twice the force. If you dismissed the second, it will hit with triple. Life doesn't make mistakes. Life doesn't reward ignorance. It only balances the scales. And if you choose to ignore the urgency, if you choose to wait, if you choose comfort over action, you will pay. Not later, not maybe, but exactly when you are least ready to handle it. Most people act shocked when consequences arrive. They cry, they scream, they curse their luck, they shake their fists at the sky. But the truth is, they saw it coming. They felt it. That tightening in their chest, that unease in their thoughts, that tiny warning that whispered, move, act, prepare. They ignored it. And the universe never forgets. It never forgives. It only shows up with a ledger and waits for the balance to be paid. And it's almost deliciously cruel how consequences have timing. They don't strike when you feel safe. They don't strike when you think you have control. They strike when your defiance has built the perfect stage for disaster. When your hesitation has gathered enough momentum to create a spectacle of regret. And when they strike, You feel it not just in your mind, but in your chest, your limbs, your very bones. Because consequences are thorough, they are meticulous, they leave nothing untouched.